Hello everybody, my name is Marco and welcome to our second Celpip course. Today we are going to cover one of the hardest tests. This is speaking test. Now, why is speaking so hard? Because it's uncomfortable. And the reason for that is because we don't really speak English a lot in our everyday life. It's easy to watch movie in English with or without subtitles. It's easy to listen to music, but when it comes to actually speaking, that's when we really have to show how good we are and how good our English skills are. Now, this also covers a little bit of stage fright because, in a way, this is a public performance thing. And just like in public performance, if you're doing a public performance, you see your audience and you have some feedback. And in this situation, you're just talking to a robot, to a microphone, and you don't know how this is going to look like. You don't have any idea about how you are performing in the moment. So it's kind of weird and uncomfortable. However, just like in the writing part, speaking part has structure. And as you're going to see, the speaking part has 8 parts. It lasts 15 to 20 minutes. And you also have one part when you can practice. This is the best. In this part, you can use it in the best way to see how if your microphone works, or if you're too loud or not too loud or whatever. So let's start with opening the first image. By the way, I tried to cover all the images, all the important things, and all these things you're going to find in a folder. However, all these things that I covered and all these images and strategies and templates and everything, I put in one, let's call it mind mapping image that you're going to see later, so you can always refer to it and take a look at it to see what is your process, what steps you are going to have to take when you practice and when you in the end perform in your speaking test. Let's open the first image, which is called Wannabe Celpip Speaking Performance Standards. We have different categories. First one is content and coherence. Second one is vocabulary. Third one is listenability and task fulfillment. So, in content and coherence, you need to have good number of ideas. Your quality of ideas has to be good. You will be scored by organization of your ideas and how many examples you gave and are they good, and the quality of your supporting details. Vocabulary, you have to use appropriate word choice, suitable use of words and phrases. You have to have a range of words and phrases, and you need to be precise and accurate. Why is this important? Well, you usually have 60 seconds. And when you have 60 seconds to speak, or 90 seconds in some cases, it's really weird because you might start to do something like and when you're hesitating and when you are not sure, you're losing a lot of time, trust me. So next one is listenability. You need to have a good rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation. You have to make sure you're not making too much pauses, interjections. Self-correction is allowed because, of course, you do that in your everyday life, in your native language, naturally. When you make a mistake, you just, equipment, right? You just quickly, you correct yourself, and this doesn't count as a mistake, and your points will not be deducted if you make a mistake and quickly correct yourself. The most important thing is, if you make a mistake, just correct yourself, everything is going to be fine. Grammar and sentence structure. Well, listen, I don't have to tell you this because you really, by this time, at this point, you need to have good grammar and you need to have a good sentence structure. Some of the softwares can help you, like an add-on for Google Chrome, for example, which is called Grammarly. You can use it sometimes when you practice, right? This is not cheating. This is just practice. So take advantage of it because you're not going to have it in your actual test, but in your test you will have spell check, which is also helpful. So don't make a silly mistake and put comma or not put comma where you're supposed to put it, and these kind of things really matter. If you want to have 9, for example, you need to have variety of sentence structure. Yeah, just don't repeat yourself. Don't say but, say however, although, or even though. I don't know. Just don't use the same words and use different synonyms. Task fulfillment. Now, relevance, of course. You need to, if you're giving advice to someone, if you're making some suggestions, you don't want to put too much, like you don't want to, you want to stick to the subject. And in terms of tone, if you're giving an advice, you need to be kind of friendly. Listen, bro, I understand what you're going through. I really want to help you. You don't want to say, hi, dude, I heard you're going through a really tough and difficult times, and I have some suggestions. You don't want to be too happy about this. Also, if you're talking to someone, like if you are apologizing to someone, you want to be kind of apologetic and kind of, there will be a task like, I think it's number 6, where you need to choose 2 difficult options, like making a difficult decision. This is the point where you need to kind of apologize, and your tone needs to be like this. I'm really sorry. I have to be apologetic, like this, right? You want to say, hey, dude, listen, I'm sorry, I cannot invite you to my birthday party, and that's it, you suck. No, you don't want to speak like this. Also, in terms of tone, like in some parts, you are going to have to persuade someone to choose your option. Like in a task 5, your appropriate tone needs to be more suggestive, more persuading, right? So, hey mom, hey dad, like, hey boss, I have a really good idea. You should totally stick to this because it has these good things and these good options, and your option is not good because of those things. You should really consider this or reconsider. Maybe, like, I'm exaggerating at this point, but maybe you want to try to be more positive here, right? You don't want to say, hi boss, I heard that you want to buy us a new chair or a new mobile phone, and I would like to help you. I have a better decision. My option is good because, you don't want to put that tone in task 5, and you don't want to put too much happy tones in task 6 because you're talking about difficult problems, right? Okay. Length is important. Remember, task 1 and task 7 are 90 seconds long, okay? And the rest are only 60 seconds. So it's really important that when you're doing these classes, you record yourself and you use stopwatch. It's really important because, believe it or not, you're going to train yourself into speaking within a time frame. All right, let's move to the next picture. So this is how a typical speaking test looks like. First one is a practice task where you check your phone where you check your, like, you're checking your tone, if you're maybe too loud or too silent, or if your mic works correctly, and you have 60 seconds, and then you're going to listen to yourself, and if everything works fine. In a task 1, you're going to give advice. You have 30 seconds of preparation and 90 seconds of talking. Task 2 is talking about a personal experience. Task 3 is describing a scene. It has 30 seconds of preparation, 60 seconds of speaking. Task 4 is making predictions. 30 seconds preparation, 60 seconds of speaking. In task 5, this is the one that I just mentioned, comparing and persuading. You have first you have 60 seconds to choose between 2 options, right? If you don't choose 2 options, then computer is going to do that for you. So after that minute, you have another additional 1 minute to prepare. In part 1, you don't speak, and in part 2 of task 5, you will speak for 60 seconds, and then you will compare the option that you chose or the computer chose for you against the other option, like maybe your boss's choice for the mobile phone, or your parents chose a like RV, recreational vehicle, or something like that. Okay. Task 6, dealing with a difficult situation. Because this is dealing with a difficult situation, obviously you need 60 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. In this part, you're not only going to have to apologize when you choose when you have chosen one of 2 difficult options, but you also have to give a solution to a problem, how you're going to solve it, right? Hey dude, you cannot come to my birthday, but I bought a really nice present for you, and I'm going to invite you to my personal party in Thursday or something, right? So you need to have a solution to make your choice not so harsh, maybe. Expressing opinions. In task 7, somebody gonna ask you, like, do you think that paparazzi shouldn't, like, invade personal private space of people? Or, I don't know, what do you think about, do we really need high fashion or, like, expensive bags or expensive luxury items? Or, I don't know, whatever, I'm just talking. out of my head. Anyways, task 8, describing an unusual situation. This is really interesting because at task 8, okay, of course you have 30 seconds for preparation and 60 seconds for recording. And here, this is where you're going to have to show your true skills, true speaking skills. Why? Because you're going to see a weird picture. Something weird happens in a picture. Not only that you don't know, you're seeing that for the first time, but you also have to explain it to someone that haven't seen that either. So you have to talk on the phone and like pretend like you're talking on the phone and say, "Hi Jimmy, I see like a giant banana walking down the street. I'm not sure what the hell is that. I suppose it's like a mannequin or some kind of festival in the city. It's walking, it has a big blah blah blah, whatever." So you have to describe something really unusual, and that's really cool. I like the task 8. Okay, so some technical details. In a speaking test, here are the features. You will speak into microphone headset. You will have 30 to 60 seconds for preparation time for each task. When the preparation time is up, the screen will move forward automatically. Now, when it says 30 to 60 seconds, you can take, like it literally starts counting. So it takes you 5 to 10 seconds to read the task. So technically speaking, instead of 30, you have 20 seconds for preparation, and instead of 60, you have kind of 50-ish seconds of preparation. When the prep time is up, the screen will move forward automatically. This is a 2 speaking picture, by the way, that we are looking at. It's a little bird speaking on a microphone. There's a picture of a little bird speaking on a microphone here. Next, a voice will say, "Start speaking now," and recording will begin automatically. The question, including any images, remains on the screen while you're speaking. A microphone icon indicates your volume level. A countdown bar indicates the speaking time remaining, and recording will stop automatically when the speaking time is up. So sometimes if you don't practice well, then by the end you will realize the time is up, so you will have to finish it really fast. Right? You don't want that to happen. So through practice, we are going to develop a specific kind of strategy how to build our own structure so we don't waste time on over-explaining things, or we're not going to waste time on too much hesitation and right, that takes a lot of seconds. So moving next picture is 3 speaking. Preparation time strategies. First, read the questions and instructions carefully. Now, before I continue, I'm going to share with you one really important detail here. This is distraction. Distraction happens if you don't, if you constantly receive notifications. So it's really important for you to turn off your smartphone at least 15 minutes before your test starts. Like overall test. When you have like these, 3 to 4 hours of the Celpip full test, 15 minutes or half an hour before you start an actual test, turn off your phone, because you don't need these distractions. Basically, just like dogs or animals, our brain is conditioned to react like instantly for any notification. Beep, beep, and you're like constantly reacting. You're thinking like, I need to answer this right now. We're socially conditioned, and many psychologists and psychiatrists are going to confirm this. So it's really important to make sure that you don't have any distractions. Why? Because you need to focus. You need to read what the hell is this task talking about. So turn off your smartphone also for your better delivery. After you do all these preparations and after you do all your homeworks, here's actual like a trick that you can do. This is a physical trick. Shoulders back, chin up, and smile, right? So when you have shoulders back, when your chin is a little bit up, and when you smile, what you do is that in 5 minutes, you're literally tricking your nervous system into feeling like you are in a comfort zone. Basically, your brain and your nerves tells you, it's okay, you're in a good position, this is your comfort zone. And this will tremendously help you in, perform better, and your delivery will be better provided that you did your homework. Again, I have to mention, I cannot stress this enough. for every hour that you spend watching these videos and being present on these like Skype courses and whatever, for each hour that you spend here, you need to spend at least 1 hour in your real life, right? In your everyday life, because you need to do homeworks. For speaking tasks, believe it or not, mastering the writing tasks in that matter is crucial. It's going to help you so much. So, continuing. So you need to have a strong focus and no distractions so you can focus on tasks that, for example, include visuals. You need to look at the images so you can carefully identify relevant details. For tasks that require making a choice, do it quickly, okay? So don't worry about choosing the perfect story or right option. The most important thing here is your content. So it doesn't really matter if you agree with the point that women are the best parents or the men are the best parents. It doesn't really matter. Just choose one of them. The most important thing here is that you have developed ability to present an argument and defend it and give like supporting arguments. Don't worry about choosing the right or perfect story. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to have time anyways. But if you're developed, that's why I tell my students, for every homework that you do, if you have option A or option B, like in survey questions or dealing with a difficult situation, or just choose one, right? And then you develop this one, and then for your homework, choose the other one too, and try to develop arguments for the other option that you didn't choose. So this is good for your brain. Come up with your main ideas. For Celpip speaking test, you need to have, I mean, this is not a rule, but it's really helpful for you to have notes, write notes. How you write them, in which language, do you use symbols or which lettering system, I don't care. It doesn't really matter. As long as it works for you, and it's going to work for you, you just need to get used to it. Some people don't like making notes. Well, too bad. I think it's only that the thing is, it's not like notes don't work for them, it's just they are not used to using them a lot. Okay, 30 seconds preparation time. Quickly note down a word or short phrase to remind you for each main idea. 60 seconds preparation time. You may also have time to note some supporting details. Okay, next, recording time strategies. Speak for the full time, right? Don't make too much pauses. If you have like 5 seconds in the end, I don't know, like you cannot just stop. So you need to prepare yourself. You need to practice a lot so you can see what your speed is, what your natural tempo is, what your perfect tone is, and all these other factors that we are going to go through. Use precise transition words and phrases instead of relying on and so. However, moreover, furthermore, therefore, you know, like the ones that you have from the first class in the images, use those a lot. Keep in mind that content is important as delivery. Correct mistakes quickly if you notice them and keep moving forward. Making a mistake is fine. If you mispronounce something, like, that's okay. Ask, like if you say like, I want to ask you something, right? This is okay. Your points are not going to be deducted. Use an appropriate tone for the situation, of course. You don't want to say, hi, I apologize for not inviting you on my birthday and totally like insulting you. Anyways, you want to use appropriate tone. Moving next, speaking question format. So as you can see, tasks 1, 2, 6, and 7 are text only, and tasks 3, 4, 5, and 8 are with image. Moving forward, let's take a look. Okay, speaking task 1, image. Speaking task 1 is given an advice. Now, you may want to try to open. Want to try to open the speaking practice 1 Word file. Here's how the typical task 1 looks like here. So this is given an advice. Image, speaking task 1. It says, speak directly to the person, be helpful and thoughtful, give 2 to 3 different ideas, support your ideas with specific details. Here, you're going to give advices, you're going to give your suggestions, you have 90 seconds. So in this part, probably you're going to give two longer ideas or 3 ideas, and you will need to support them with the strong arguments. Like, for example, your friend needs to lose weight, so you need to advise him or her that how they can do this. One of your reasons might be, as I mentioned before, one of your reasons might be you should go to gym. Why gym? Because workout is not only beneficial for your body, but for your mind too. Okay, I mentioned that in the last part. Anyways, so it says, your best friend has been under great stress lately and his health is suffering. Advise him or her about what he or she should do to relieve stress and improve his or her health. Okay, so at this point, you will see Speaking Practice 1 Word document. You will see how this task 1 and all the other tasks look like. And then you are going to see in Speaking Practice 1 template, you will see the text. Like, this is transcription of how someone answered this task and how it should sound or look like, right? Hi there, Sarah, how are you? I heard from your mom, blah, 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 blah. Now, since we don't have much time to go through each of these images, like Speak Task 1, Speak Task 2, we don't have time to open Speaking Practice 1 and Speaking Practice 1 templates, Word documents. What I did is I made a map here. So you can open the map Speaking Task 1 Strategy. Here, if you zoom it enough, you're going to see all these pictures that you need, all these pictures that are in this folder. You will see the task itself, task 1, and then you will see the task example, how somebody answered it. And with this, you are going to see all these steps that are necessary for you how to build structure. Now, I know it's really colorful. This map has a lot of different colors, a lot of different lines, and it's really hard to connect them all, but let's see how the structure here looks like. Okay, so first, always start with a simple greeting. Imagine talking to someone over the phone or someone you're comfortable with. So, hi there, Sarah, how are you? This is very easy, right? Like, you don't have to think too much about this. You can always use the same name. Hi there, Sarah. Hi there, Jimmy, unless the task tells you differently. So your friend has been under great stress lately and his health is suffering. Now, so let's see. First, introduce the purpose of your call, for example, or why are you calling this? Basically, at this point, you're paraphrasing the task itself. So you say, how are you? I heard from your mom that you've been going through some really stressful situations as of late. I know that this is a major issue for you for these days. However, I have a few advices that will help you come out of this problem. Now, in the number 3, in the yellow window, you will see, in the orange window, number 2, you will see you introduce the purpose of your call. So I'm calling you because I want to help you. I heard you had some problems. But you also need to be thoughtful. You never start giving advice by, hi, how are you? Listen, you have to do this, 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 and that. Or, hi, listen, I heard you had some problems. Here is what you need to do. You never start like that. So what you want to do is, like, you want to show some compassion. Listen, I've been through the same. I understand how you feel. It's really important. The first part shouldn't be so long. So, hi there, Sarah. Listen, I heard that you are struggling with your stress lately because of a lot of work, and I would really like to help you because I've been in the same situation. If you allow me, I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions, right? So you need to be a little bit thoughtful here. So then you see you have firstly, secondly, thirdly, you have some, here you have some arguments, suggestions, and then arguments that support your suggestion. So it's not enough to say just, you should really go out more, right? Why? Well, you will be able to talk to other people and thus you will automatically feel relaxed, right? This is why you should cure. Or secondly, you should start working out. So what? Start working out. What kind of idea is that? Maybe I don't want to work out. What do you have to persuade me that this is a really good idea? Well, as you can see, exercising really helps reducing the stress level. Trust me, it works. Okay, well, I guess I trust you. And thirdly, why didn't you find another job? Why? Well, you will be much more happy and relaxed. This is how you do it. This is yours. So you always, for every advice that you give, you need to give a strong argument that follows it. And in the end, I hope you take my suggestion seriously and I want to talk to you soon. Take care. This one, the last one, I hope you take my suggestion, like the whole paragraph here, is so simple and it's so, how to say, like a school example that you can pretty much copy paste and use it every time. I mean, copy paste in your brain, of course. So, at this point, when you have all these things covered, now you may want to start using some connectors. In the red, all these red, how to say, not pillows, but what I mean is clouds, red clouds and rectangles or whatever, you're going to see all the causes, condition, purpose, conclusion, summary, restatement, just like from the first class. I put all of those here, like collected them all, so you don't have to browse through like, oh, where is this? Should I find it here? Is it? No, it's here. It's in front of you, so you can use them. At first, try to use the simple ones. You can practice. You can play with them, see which one can you put where, and they need to be natural, right? You can use as complex as possible, but make sure it sticks to the meaning. Make sure it makes sense, and if it doesn't sound natural to you, probably it's not going to sound natural to the examiner, so try to change it, okay? Let's move to the next picture here. Task 2, talking about a personal experience. Now, at this point, obviously, you talk about a personal experience, yeah? But here's what you need to do. At first, you have to take a look at a setup of this task. Pay attention to the most important tasks here. Here it says, talk about a possession that you value very much. Maybe you can talk about a family object or something that you purchased after a long wait, something you received as a gift, or anything else that you can remember. What is it and why is it so valuable to you? Out of all these things, and out of all these words and sentences, what are the most important things? A, you need to talk about a possession that you value very much. B, you have to say what is it, and C, why is it so valuable to you, right? Now, you need to try to give a lot of vivid details. At this point, like whatever you're talking about, whether it's the most memorable day you had, or the most interesting child, or the most beloved child that you ever had, or the most memorable experience, the biggest adventure you ever had, or the most valuable possession, you have to tell what is it. If it's material thing, you have to explain how it looks, how it feels under fingers, on touch. Does it make a sound? How does it sound? You have to use all these perceptions. If you take a look, if you move a little bit up, you're going to see task 2 talking about a personal experience. At this point, you don't have 90 seconds to speak, you have 30 seconds to prepare. So describe one experience, right? This is a little bit different. This has a different structure. You have to give a lot of vivid details. How it feels, how it looks like, what kind of color does it have, what kind of impression does it make to other people. And you also have to put like emotional component. How does it make you feel? Again, guys, I know this is a lot of information, but as you go through, as you read them through time, it's going to be tough, but it will enter your brain, so you will understand the whole structure, how to build a structure and how to make it, how to use it every time. So every time you hear this time ticking, you know exactly what you're going to talk about. All right, so consider 5 senses to help you build a clear picture. Using humor is fun. You can be funny because if it's a positive experience, of course, if it's something funny that happened to you, so make sure you use it. All right. Describe emotions. Try to get the listener to feel how you felt. Now, don't use very afraid. You were horrified, and don't use I was very happy. You were excited. You were ecstatic. Don't say it was very funny. Say it was hilarious. Just like in your native language, you probably have like 56,000, like at least 100 different kind of emotions or descriptions of emotions or how you feel. Same thing is with English language. So try to download or just to Google, but basically Google, what are all the emotions in English language? So try to use them. Yeah. So you can say it was really good, but you can say it was awesome too. So try to be more descriptive, use a lot of synonyms. At this point, if you are not sure how to begin and how to start this task 2, you can always start with well, today I would like to talk about a possession that I value very much. In this example, it starts differently. There are many possessions that I like. One of them is my car, which is an Acura TL. It ends with, overall, I'm really proud to own this car and it feels amazing to drive it on the road. So basically, you can, each task 2, if you're not really sure how to begin, you can always have a beginning and the end, so you can work on the other parts, descriptions on the other bodies. So you can start with, today I would like to talk about the most amazing adventure that ever happened to me, and you end it with, and that was my story about one of the most amazing adventures that ever happened to me, right? Today I would like to talk about blah blah blah, and that was a story about blah blah blah. It's simple, right? So now, of course, at some point you want to try to use transitional words, prepositions. You're going to find them here. There's a cause, condition, purpose, conclusion, summary, restatement, blah, blah, blah. You try to put them again. You try to fit them. Sometimes there's not much place for you to put them, but so you don't have to literally always use them in the end. If you see any place or if you feel like you can use the different connectors, use them as long as they sound natural. Let's move to the task 3. Task 3, describing a scene. Here, this is very simple. You start with, in this picture, I can see a scene, or I can see a scene of a beach, or in this picture, I can see the scene of a picnic, the scene of a nature, I can see a classroom, I can see this, I can see that, but in this picture, I can always, this is the really easiest way. You can also end with, those are the main features of this picture. It's very easy. See? So you don't have to think about how you're going to start here. So you always have a beginning and the end. Next one, you will have enough time to mention 3 to 4 most important situations. If there is time, you can mention other things, but have in mind that you are going to use the same situations in the next task when you will predict what will happen next. So in this picture, we see a couple who are just relaxing under the sun, 2 kids trying building a sandcastle, lifeguard talking to a blonde girl, 2 people who are drowning in the water, and there's a guy in the center doing some exercise. If you have, so just 3 to 4 main things, 5 tops, right? And you don't have to describe everything here. One of the most important things that you have to use is prepositional phrases. You can here you can see on the right hand side, moving towards the center, I see that. On the left hand side, I see this, and the guy in the center is doing that, right? So you always use this, moving to the left, in the foreground, in the background. Using prepositional phrases of location is really important here. So now you have like a structure, you have a beginning, you have the end. Those are the main things I see in this picture. You have 60 seconds, 30 seconds for preparation. And that's pretty much it. This is how it should look like. Let's move to task 4. Task 4 is connected to task 3. Now you're going to make prediction about the same picture that you saw. So here are the strategies. Give 3 to 5 detailed predictions. You don't have to make predictions about every person in the scene. Make realistic predictions that are related to the situation in the illustration. And consider what people will do next, how will they feel, etc., and elaborate on your main ideas. Now, when you do this, try to make sure that you're realistic, which means that you don't want to say like, and then they're gonna get married and live happily ever after, right? Like, unless the picture specifically shows like 2 people in love looking at each other like in such a romantic way, then you don't have to mention that, what's going to happen in 20 years. Pretty much what's going to happen soon, later, after. So, if you're not sure how to start, you can always begin with, in this picture, what will happen next is, or these are the things I think will happen next, or anticipating what is going to happen next. I predict that blah, 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 or, and you can end with, and those are the things I believe are going to happen next in the picture. All right, so you have in this picture what will happen next is, And those are the things that I think will happen next. This is something that you probably will always use, right? And if you're not sure, again, just stick to those. They're very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Now you're gonna give 3 to 5 realistic predictions. The guy who is doing the exercise will start shouting at the lifeguard, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. At this point, try to use some of the connectors. Here again, we don't have many connectors. Also, and however, I put them in like the like yellow frames. But I mean, if you see if there's a natural place for them in this task, then use them. But you don't have to, like if you don't feel. As long as this thing is as realistic as possible, and as long as you're following the task. Now, when you are practicing all of those, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tasks of speaking test, here's how you're going to practice. Try to adjust your speaking tone, rhythm, and tempo to be sure you are within 60 seconds limit. You try to record yourself in your free time, but before that, before you start recording yourself, practice by first writing what you need to say, and then make sure you have a good introduction, task fulfillment, structure, wrap up, and good timing, that you're within a time frame. And over time and practice, very soon you will develop a sense of how fast you need to speak to be clear, understandable, and to mention all the things that task requires you to mention, and all that within 1 or 90 seconds of time, right? And soon you will develop your own pattern, your own kind of introduction, your own wrap up and summary, and so on and so forth. All right, moving next. So task 5 is about comparing and persuading part 1. In the first picture, you have to read instructions in blue. You have 1 minute to see, like those are 2 options. Then look at the pictures and information. Choose the one that you would like to prefer to talk about, because there is no right or wrong choice, just choose one. Click on your preferred choice. If you don't click it, the computer will do that for you, so you don't want to let the computer choose it for you. Now start thinking what you will say about your choice in part 2. Make notes if you like. I would always make notes when it comes to speaking test. And then in a task 5, you will have comparing and persuading. You have to read the new information in blue, which is something that in this case your parents chose, your parents' option, or your boss's option, your boss's choice. Read information about the new option on the left, speak directly to the person or people, expand the details provided, compare your choice to the other option, which one is better. Basically the same way I speak here, right? The same way like I have like a positive tone, and at this point when I'm doing my lecture on this video, this is kind of a tone that you might want to try to use when you are doing task 5. Let's see how it looks like. So at first, so it says your family has decided to take a month-long road trip across Canada this summer in recreational vehicle, blah blah blah. You chose luxury edition. Now, here, these things and stats are really important, and you need to remember them because you are going to compare them with the other one. So your luxury edition has $3,500 per week. You have to pay for that. It has air conditioning, TV, satellite radio, large bathroom, and living area, and 6 people sleep here. And reliable old-fashioned RV, you have $1,000 per week, kitchenette with sink and small fridge, blah blah blah. All right. So now here you have to compare these 2 stats, as you're going to see. So the first step that you need to do is, like, in the first picture you don't do much. You just make notes, take a look at your option. In the second part, your introduction and wrap up need to sound like you're talking to someone over the phone. So hello boss, or hi Derek, hi dear mom. Then you mention the choice they made. I heard you were planning to go for this choice. I have a better idea, you should go for my choice. And then you expand the details, like You have this, and mine is better because of this. And mine maybe is a little bit more expensive, but it has room for 6 people, but yours has room for 3 people, and so on and so forth. Here, there are a lot of connectors and a lot of these that you can use, connectors and prepositions, and however, other than that, whereas, plus, and so on. Again, just like in every other before, I put like in a little red box down, I put all of the connectors, causes, summaries, examples, emphasis, oppositions, limitations, contradictions, all the things that you need for that part. But then again, try not to overuse it or put them in a place where they don't belong, because if it doesn't sound natural to you, it's probably not going to sound natural to the examiner. So this is pretty much how this one sounds. The most important thing here is just choose any option, and you need to speak more in a positive and persuasive way. Let's move to the next picture. The next picture is going to be speaking task 6 strategy, dealing with a difficult situation. Now, this one is really super hard, just like in a task 5, you need to make one choice. You need to speak directly to the person, justify your choice with 2 or 3 strong supporting reasons, and elaborate your reasons with specific details, acknowledge the person's feelings. So, a close relative has some financial problems. He asks you to lend him money. Your wife or husband does not want you to lend him any money because he has not paid people back in the past. So choose one. Either you talk to your relative and explain explain him why you cannot lend the money, or talk to your husband or wife and explain why you should lend your relative the money. It says, "Hey Juan, how are you? I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I will not be able to lend you any money that you need," right? This is basically paraphrasing your choice that you made. At this point, as you can see, my tone is a little bit lower, and I'm really, I'm trying to be supportive, or I'm trying to be at least understanding, because I'm making a difficult decision and I'm basically apologizing to the person. You don't want to start like, "Hi Juan, how are you? I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I'm not going to give you the money. I know you're really looking for someone to help, but unfortunately my wife has told me to not give you any assistance in this matter." This shows that you understand the situation. So you're not just saying no, right? "I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to do this for you." You're saying, "Listen, I understand you're in a difficult position, but you have to understand my position too. And I have some reasons why I cannot help you in this matter." So now you provide reasons. However, I have a solution. Okay, this is important here too. You can have your reasons, but you should also provide a solution. So you cannot lend him money because he lied to you before, he didn't answer your calls, it took him a long time to give you back the money. But listen, since you understand the situation, you know a guy that knows a guy, so you know your cousin Jorge can help you in this situation, and so on and so forth. This is coming up with solutions. At this point, you may want to try to put some connectors here to cover them. And yeah, this is in the lower window. You're going to see all the connectors, all the necessary prepositions and connectors you need. All right, moving to the next one. You're going to open the mind map called Task 7, Expressing Opinions. Now, Task 7 to me looks like a Task 2 in writing test, because it looks like an essay, and the only difference between this and an actual essay is that this kind of has a structure of like 5 paragraphs instead of 4 that the usual essay has. So, in expressing opinions, you will give about 3 main reasons for your opinion. You will use personal experience and knowledge to support your choice, personal experience and knowledge, and develop your ideas thoroughly, and you will have to stay on topic. So here's a question. Do you think magazine and newspaper photographers or paparazzi have the right to photograph celebrities during their private time? And now it says, the topic of paparazzi has been a topic of a hot debate in recent years. In my opinion, the paparazzi should not have the rights to take photos of celebrities. There are many reasons for this. Now, you're given opinion here. You're not choosing option A or option B. So you don't have to say like, even though option A is good, I'm choosing option B. No. Here's you say, well, you can also say like, I never really thought about this, but if I really have to choose, in this, I would definitely support the reason that prevents, I don't know, paparazzi taking the photos or whatever. But basically, now you have to put. There's no like a specific, yeah, there's no specific pattern how you should open and how you should close. But basically, yeah, you open like this in your own natural way, and you close it. I mean, how would you open it, anyways? And you close it by paraphrasing your first paragraph. So in the first paragraph, you open to the people, what do you think about this, and then you start giving arguments. Now this should be really easy. Even though you have like 90 seconds to speak at this part, this should be really easy for you, because think about it. For most of these things and for most of these questions, you already have a formed opinion in your own language. But my suggestion for you would be, when you're practicing this in your free time, try to choose the other option too. Just so you can, train your brain to think in the different ways, right? To pick the different angles and use different arguments for those different angles, because in this way you're going to train yourself that in the moment of panic and when you have a really limited time, then you are going to be able to choose whichever option and still be able to provide strong arguments and ideas for them. So this is just my personal suggestion. Try to practice both options. Firstly, secondly, thirdly, those are the connectors here that you might want to use. Those are the nice openers. Here are the arguments. First, you say, if the media keeps on running after celebrities, these celebrities will go under great stress and will probably go into mental depression. And then you wonder, so why? Why should I care? Why is this a good argument? Then it says, then you elaborate it a little further. Now, you don't just give me the argument that supports your idea or your reason. So you give me the reason, then you elaborate it further. In the green underline, it says, now I understand the fans want to see their favorite celebrities at all time. However, and then you give the reason. If we are going to cause this damage to the mental condition of these innocent celebrities, then we should not feel very proud of that or even encourage such a horrible idea. So you give me the reason, you elaborate it a little bit further, and then you give me a strong argument. Why should I care about your reason, right? You always have to think about it in this way. Give me an idea and you support your idea. Secondly, these celebrities are also normal human beings like the rest of us. Okay, that's nice reason. Why should I care? Well, that is why they have families and friends to be with. So what? If the media constantly keeps chasing them, then there will be no private time that these celebrities will have and will always suffer from a shortage of personal activities. So at this point, you see how it goes. You give a reason, elaborate it further, a little bit more, give me more information, and then you give me a strong argument. Thirdly, if everybody knows that this is the way celebrities are treated, then no one would want to be like celebrity. So what? Well, this is because no one wants their personal lives to be so terrible. So, because of this reason, there will be lesser people who would want to apply for this field, and we will then have bad talent on TV that will not excite us anymore. To me personally, this is not a strong argument, but argument nevertheless, so it works, it's good. Therefore, the end part is basically paraphrasing the first introductory statement. This is how it should look like. At this point, try to put or cram, try to cram these connectors or prepositional phrases if there's a place for them. Again, if there's not a place for them, as I mentioned before, if it doesn't sound natural, it's not going to sound natural for the examiner as well. So, what else? And then you try to practice. And the last one is task 8. Task 8 is describing an unusual situation. All right. So at first, this doesn't have like a really specific intro or any kind of like a really specific outline or like a structure. You can do the simple one. Hi mom, how are you? Really easy. Or hi John, what's up? Or I mean not what's up, but hi John, how are you? Just like speaking on the phone. And then you start to describe what happens. You need to give some important details in the first part, like just like a journalist, you need to say what happened, when, where, how, right? If there's a situation, like in this case, obviously there's a situation, but try to talk like a journalist. Now add some extra details to them, or to your most important details. If there's extra time, you can give some extra details to the picture. The shop was selling rackets, blah blah blah. Wrap it up. In this specific example, you will not see a typical summary or conclusion, since this is a natural phone conversation, right? So our summary here is more like a comment on how the person will deal with the situation. So depending on the task, you might use different or no connectors at all. And there are no rules when it comes to sign off here. Just make sure it follows the conversation and description that you had so far. This particular task is not using many connectors, but as always, you can try to fit in some of them. And in the red one, in the eighth step, you're going to see again how you are supposed to practice this. So let's see. Hi mom, how are you? I have a really bad news to tell you. I took dad's car today to his sports store, and this is at the corner of Ellington and Dundas. And when I came out of the store, I noticed that our car has been badly damaged by a big ball that is used for advertisement, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here in the upper image, there is a task 8 describing an unusual situation. There are words and propositions, and in a step 8, you are going to see how you are going to practice these. This one has 60 seconds. This one has 60 seconds limit. But don't forget, when you're practicing these, first take a look at the task, what it tells you to do. Then you try to write it down on paper, and then you try to record yourself. So let's remember, for each one of those tasks, depending on what your time limit is, you need to try to adjust your speaking tone, rhythm, and tempo to be sure you are within your time limit. The best way you can do is to practice, and you should do it by first writing what you can, writing what you need to say, and then you should record yourself. You then listen to your recording and make sure you have a good introduction, you fulfilled all the tasks, you have a good structure, there's a good wrap up, and good timing. And over time and practice, very soon you will develop a sense of how fast you need to speak to be clear, understandable, to mention all the things that this task requires you to do, this and any of these 8 speaking tasks requires you to do. So all that within a specific time limit. Most of these have 1 minute or 60 seconds time limit, or just to second and seventh, they have 90 seconds of time limit. So over time and through practice, you will develop your own structure, so you will know how to end, how to begin, what are your bodies in between are, and so on and so forth. So in the folder that I have sent, you will see Celpip speaking performance standards. You will see the speaking task overview. Again, let's remember, task 1 is giving advice, task 2 is talking about a personal experience, task 3 is describing a scene, task 4 is making predictions, task 5 is comparing and persuading, task 6 is dealing with a difficult situation, task 7 expressing opinions, and task 8 describing an unusual situation. Now don't worry, you will have time to practice each one of those, and you will hear how some of the students have dealt with these tasks before. So through my evaluation and through my feedback, you will see if you're doing it the correct way, if you're doing this in a good way, what are the typical mistakes that students are making. So we'll have a clearer picture how this looks like. The speaking task takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. Again, you will find 2 Word documents, Speaking Practice 1 template and Speaking Practice 1. In Speaking Practice 1, you will see all the tasks from 1st to the 8th. And in Speaking Practice 1 template, you will see all the examples, how to do them properly, right? So you should totally read them, right? You should record yourself and read those tasks too, so you get the feeling how this should look like and how long can you speak. Are you too fast? Are you too slow? practice is perfect here. And then for each one of those, I provided a picture, but with a picture, I provided like a mind map for you. So you can, mind map basically includes all the strategies and the speaking template and speaking practice one document, all the important stuff that you need to know. All right, that's it for today. In the next class, I will be evaluating and giving feedback on your homeworks, and I will give some examples of my students' works before from task 1 and task 2 of writing part. So I will give evaluations on that and feedback on that. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care, good luck, and practice. See you soon. Bye.